Hello and welcome. My name is Dominic Raviot and I work for Nelson Hall. I'm a research director and I cover, among other things, software testing and software testing services, I should say. And that means looking mostly at the service offerings that you can find in the market around software testing services and all the underlying attributes, whether in terms of the offerings themselves, the delivery, the IPs and tools, and so forth. With NelsonHall's together, we recently introduced two main deliverables, two documents around software testing services. One is our annual market assessment and forecast, where we look at what's going on in the market, where we look at the offerings, and where we look also at the spending patterns, the type of client needs, and really also trying to think about the future. This is a very significant, very comprehensive document. It's got more than 120 slides and pages, and we think it's sort of has become the industry standard those days in software testing services. Another exciting event is really when we've introduced our first software testing services NEAT, and NEAT stands for Nelson Hall Evaluation and Assessment Tool. And this tool is really to help buy-side clients, buy-side organization to sort of source their vendor depending on their needs. So the beauty of this tool is you can actually configure it in function of your requirements, and we think that's going to be very useful in terms of sourcing whenever if you need someone with strong delivery capabilities in a given country onshore or in India for type of offerings and so forth. So we've got 60 or so parameters to sort of configure this tool. Let me sort of think about 2 or 3 main characteristics of the software testing industry. First of all, it's growing still very solidly after so many years. Still grows by more than 10%. We're predicting 13% in 2014 and probably the same in 2015, possibly more. And of course, that type of growth in services is also coming with a big growth in headcounts. With the industry adds about 25,000 QA testers a year to 30,000. As that's only a number for taking the IT services vendor in mind, not including the headcounts of clients. So it's massive growth. And really, one of the challenges of the industry is to become less linear, to become less labor intensive, and this is where we're seeing the biggest challenge really, because now you've got a testing ecosystem, testing services ecosystem, so to speak, that is larger than the service ecosystem of SAP. So that's massive. And really we've seen quite a number of vendors now focusing very, very clearly on trying to get more non-linear, and we very much welcome this trend. At this point, it's really this non-linearity effort is really materializing in the form of building proprietary IPs and accelerators and tools, and that's it's becoming an important part of a differentiator in a given software testing service industry. Looking forward, if I think about the future of the industry, we think it's going to be largely centered on what we call platform-based testing services. And for lack of a better word, we're describing it as a way of centralizing execution of testing services, where the vendor would bring a number of assets, be it repositories of test cases, tools, like niche solutions or vertical needs sometimes. And so automation, centralized delivery, and also a centralized pool of people, whether it's virtual, but at least it's coordinated in practices, virtual practices. Now, I know that the Indian vendors themselves have very much promoted the notion of testing center of excellence. In their words, it can either designate a testing factory for dedicated clients, so people working mostly for one given client, and usually it's a large client. Or testing center of excellence also refers to a practice where people look for the right tools for a given offering, try to train people and so forth. So it's more of an internal need for training and finding the right tools, and also solutionings and biddings for new bids and new contracts. So we think platform-based testing services is probably the next evolution, and you can see some of it happening now in mobile application testing offerings, where possibly when the client wants, when the buy-side organization wants, it can purchase sort of a delivery from a mobile testing lab. And we think sort of platform-based testing services is the next evolution of that kind of delivery we're seeing in mobile application labs. So I sort of describe very quickly what we've done and published recently in software testing services. Please contact me if you got any questions, or Guy Sander for if you got a commercial interest in software testing services by Nelson Hall. Thanks again for your time. Bye bye now.